So the next part will be the theme, and for this part we're not going to have critiques. We will ask the photographer to talk a little bit about their image if they like to, or whatever. What made them take it, what they liked about it, how challenging it was, just something a little bit about their photo. So this will be not the ones that were in for the critique. And this is Chris's. Do you have a mic, Chris?
Check. That's better. So this, over the last while, this was one that I thought matched the theme, and it's 3 cherry tomatoes dropped into a 7-Up and water mixture and into a vase. And I thought it had some good action to it and some good highlights, and I thought it matched the theme.
Not a critique. Can I ask one question? What was the lighting?
Lighting was flash. 2 Godox flashes.
One on each side?
Yeah.
We can have a few questions if people ask. But
the edges of the vase were cropped out. I don't know, probably 10. It wasn't a lot, but they seemed to go where they were supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
You trained them?
I did.
Did you ever make the tomatoes now?
No, I didn't use them afterwards.
Awesome.
Yep, more or less. They're kind of staggered in your hands, so they drop individually.
Sorry, John, what was that? You want to know?
I beg your pardon?
Did you have a remote control for your shutter?
No, I just hit I had somebody helping me drop them.
Okay, on to the next.
Last week I was down at the weir admiring the pelicans and taking a number of shots, both odds and even number of birds, and sort of looking at different ones. And this is the one that I picked that I liked.
Very cool. If no questions, we'll go on to the next one. John's not here, so I'll just look at it for a minute. Can anyone else tell where it's at? Outside. On a post, yeah.
Well, they're California gulls.
Oh, okay.
But they have some at Frank Lake, and there's some here. Oh, no, those are ring-billed gulls. Sorry. But it's ruby because the inside of that one's mouth is red, and I don't know if their mouth is red inside or it's just the way the light's getting.
Big pardon?
Okay. Very cool. On to the next image. This one I was just, part of our LA Gallery field trip was supposed to go from LA Gallery to the mall and do pictures around the mall and then go to the Galt for the rest. But I was the only one that went to the mall. So I guess nobody thought it as interesting as I did. So I was just looking through. I like it because they are the 5 windows, and one of them is odd that doesn't have the trees in it. So that was my rule of odds. Next one. Can you give me your mic?
Can anybody guess where it is? Yes, we're at the very back of Cameron Lake. And cross-country skied in and have been there a few times this year doing that. And there's this little group of trees that there's actually 5 there, but one of them is completely dead, so it kind of doesn't look as good when you put it in. And I was just happy to get there and have the sun shining, because the other 3 trips that I was there, it was definitely not shining. I'll break the tension.
So these trees, I've seen them before. They're about 12 feet tall, especially the one on the right. I like the way he's handled the snow color. I mean, the white is just perfect. You got the shadows are really good. The detail in the cliffs are really good. And choosing to crop the top of the mountain and just focus on the trees and the lake and the cliffs is really well done.
He said all that just because he's sitting right beside me.
I know. And he didn't listen to us say this isn't supposed to be a critique.
Those are all compliments.
Yeah,
That's okay. It was all good, right?
definitely.
I do love the exposure, too. Okay, on to the next one. I guess we're all done. So thank you again, everybody, for entering images into this and going out and shooting for the theme. And without the light, I don't know what's going on next. So George has also done a secret assignment for us. Do you have anything to say before we show it, George? Do you have anything to say about your secret assignment before we show it, or just... Hang on until Chris gives you the...
The secret assignment, they give you 2 topics, and so I chose the first one, and I thought about it and took the odd picture over the first 3 months, and then when I went to put it together last week, I don't like any of these pictures, so I went to the second line on the piece of paper, and that's what you got.
Very nice. Anybody have any guesses? Reflections?
Stunning images. What's that?
Yeah, stunning images.
Stunning images. No, that's not it.
Reflections, George?
No.
John Crample, you're just an expert. Yes, reflections. Now, I looked up reflections in the dictionary, and there was two different items there. One is the reflection you see in the water, and the other was reflections that you have in your mind and your thoughts. That's why the first half of the show was all people having reflections. And what's that? Well, I wanted to throw you off track. I threw everybody off track except John Crample.
Yeah, really, really nice, George. So what was your other theme? What was the one you threw away?
Sorry?
What was the theme that you threw away?
Oh, the first one was M for May.
Was what?
M for May.
Oh.
A week ago, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do for M for May. So I scrambled in my library and thought, I rarely show any of these images, so I'm going to put together.
So the initial images of the portraits, are you asking people to pose for you? Like where did you get some of the people that you were photographing?
Mike asked the question on, do I ask people to pose when I do on the portraits at the beginning? And no, I'm too shy for that. But I've gone to a Dave Rasha character workshop with him and Wayne Simpson, and I've gone to a couple of, I went to another one in Nova Scotia with them that the models come with the workshop, so it was very convenient.
Awesome. And thank you once again. And our next show is on Northern Lights from our members, and Chris put that together too. I think, do we have the time lapse now too, or no? Yep.
I have a question about the Aurora. Do we have a head segment on it?
We can, sure. But it won't be till next year because we're out of meetings. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So this next part is, is it you? Who? Yeah. Okay. So your name's Chris? Sorry, Chris. So he has the time lapse of the auroras that he asked if we could show, and I believe we have it downloaded to show here.
Most clear nights before I head off to sleep, I grab my camera and a really fast lens to look out my back door for any signs of Northern Lights activity. More often than not, it's a bust and I head to bed, and these shots are a record of my disappointment. But once in a while, I see something that piques my interest, a hazy ribbon of green along the horizon. It's time to get the cameras and go shoot, or as the Aurora chasing crowd says, pants on! These backyard shots were from February 27, when a spectacular geomagnetic storm kicked off in the upper atmosphere. I took a few hastily set up time lapses out my back door, and I wish I was more prepared because this was pretty exciting that evening. But on Sunday, April 23rd, the skies lit up once again after solar eruptions earlier in the week slammed into our magnetosphere. The Twitter Aurora community are reporting sightings as far south as New Mexico, cactuses and northern lights. I like these buildings. They're kind of like the high rises of the prairie. They remind me of some of the buildings in Edmonton and Vancouver and other cities I used to live in. It's so flat out here. It's just interesting to see anything kind of break that up that isn't a tree. Getting a shot of the Northern Lights isn't as hard as some people think. I was just talking to somebody earlier this week and they said, I need a faster lens, but I shot a lot of this with f4. And in fact, while my cameras were busy time-lapsing, I decided to pull out the iPhone mini and, they don't really hold up that great on the big screen, but looking at them on the small iPhone mini screen, they look fantastic. I just put my phone on top of my car hood and left a little time-lapse there and then pulled this still and got some color out of it. I really, really think that phones are going to be catching up in the next few years. The fact that phone cameras can see anything at all at night like this is a huge leap from even a couple of years ago. I believe this plane is a Canadair CT-133 Silver Star. If you know what it is, drop a comment below. I like how it looks like a starfighter in this time-lapse here, traversing the galaxy. So as we head toward the solar maximum, we're probably going to see a lot more nights like this, and maybe even more intense. But as long as it isn't another Carrington event, that's fine with me. Thanks for watching.
There you go. There's the ad segment. So I believe that's on YouTube. Is that right?
Yeah, I just been taking little video clips when I go shoot photos the last couple months.
So if they search your name, they can find it? Yeah? Cool.
So that's a CF100. Is it? Okay, I got a bunch of Google results. I thought it might have been that, so I wasn't sure. Well, that's pretty good, I guess.
Very good. Thank you. I think we're going to skip. We had one more little thing, but we're going to skip that. I think we've watched enough on the screen today. So I'm just going to announce a few things. The first is that I believe that our Memorial Waterton trip is our next one, but it's not planned yet. The executives decided we want to have another in-person workshop, that we're kind of tired of all the webinars that we have been watching for the past 3 or 4 years or however long it's been. So if those of you that were with us before COVID and we used to have workshops, we've had some that were just one evening. We've had some that were one evening over 3 weeks, and then we've had some that were a whole weekend workshops. So we're tossing around all those ideas. If you have anything that you'd like, if you want to if you feel like you'd really love to dedicate a whole weekend where we shoot, where we edit, where we have different, sometimes we've done it where we've had different rooms, and so there was 3 different workshops going on at once, and you could pick which room you wanted to go to do the workshops. So if you have any ideas of what you'd like to do, and also what is the best month, perhaps, say in the fall time, that would work for you, that you think we should do one, then just don't even have to wait for us to send out a inquiry. I think we have already. I get mixed up whether we got it or whether executive got it or whether everybody got it. But if you didn't get it, or if you got it, then answer it, and if not, then just go ahead and send us a comment and say, I'd love to see this or that. We have a photo scavenger hunt scheduled for June 8th, which is a Thursday. In the old days, we always had it on a Thursday because the stores were open late, and that would allow us time to go in the stores. These days, there's a lot of stores that are open all the time. So we are going back to the throwaway disposable cameras. So we'll be getting disposable cameras. So there are 24 shots, I believe, on the disposable camera. Whoever shows up, we will meet at, I believe we're going to leave at 7, so you come just before 7 behind the lodge. We'll send out the information for sure. And then whoever is there, we split up into groups and we drive around in our groups, and you take turns in that group to take a picture. So you got to there will be, if there's 24 images on the film, then you have 24 subjects, things that you have to take pictures of. So you can't waste it. You guys got to decide what you want and who's taking the next picture, and you get one chance at taking the picture of that. And then we get them developed and we show them at our year-end barbecue, and we all have a little thing where we stick and pick which ones we like the best nominate a winner for winning group for that. So it's a lot of fun. It always was a lot of fun with the groups. So that's different than we have done in the past years with the digital and going out on our own. So it's kind of nice to get back together with people. And speaking of the year-end barbecue, Gary has offered to, I think, right? Yeah, I better make sure. Has offered to let us have the barbecue at his place this year, which we had before COVID. He had it a couple of times there, I think, and we'll send out the information as to the address and all that a little bit later on. But it is on June 22nd, which I believe is the Thursday after our June meeting. And usually what we have there is you bring some kind of meat that you can barbecue for yourself, and then another dish that you share with everybody else. But again, we'll send out the information on that. And then our June, I'm talking fast, but in our June meeting. So our June meeting is run differently for those who don't know. And our main idea for the June meeting is to have our year-end competition, what we call it. So you can enter a single digital print, a group of 3 digital prints, a single print image, and a group of 3 print images. And those are not triptychs or whatever you call it. They're just a group of 3 images. However you put them together is up to you, whether they're 3 different, whether they're the same subject but just different pictures, whether they just relate to each other because of the color that's in them, whatever you think would appeal to the people that are going to be there and judging. And this year we also have, some of us are working on a monologue. Is that what you call it? It's basically a book. Storytelling book. So if you have been part of this project, then you have been probably taking images, and we're going to have that judged somehow that night too. We will show those, whoever enters those. So we'll be showing that night too. And if you haven't been here for the first part of the year and don't know much about it, and you still want to get involved, then just let us know and we'll make sure we catch you up on that. And that's all, I think. Other than I want to thank Gail for doing the drinks tonight, and Chris and everybody else. Any questions? If not, we're all good. We'll make sure we get the field trip information out to you, and thank everybody for all their participation.